There you go.
Okay, that was not sweet.
All right.
She's a nurse.
So with the new release of Disney Plus, Disney's latest online streaming service, where you can watch anything from Walt Disney's first animated short to any of his newer series like The Imagineers, which is just a show based off of how Disney made his parks. So I thought it only appropriate to do my speech about Walt Disney. So Walt Disney was born December 5th, 1991, which is really important because he was born right after a major war. And so all of his life he heard about this war, and 13 years later, war broke out in Europe, and that was World War I. And so when he was 16, he attended McKinley High School, and he dropped out in 1997 to go fight against, he dropped out to go fight in the war. And so when he tried to enlist, the military wouldn't let him enlist because he was too young. I mean, that's even ruling out. You have to be at least 18 in order to enlist and serve. So he did the only thing he could think to do, and he joined the Red Cross. And so serving for the Red Cross, he was sent to France and he drove an ambulance. And this was a key part of his life because he missed out on his childhood because he saw like really graphic and violent things. He was shot at. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that he did shoot people, protecting people. And so, so when he came back, a year after the war ended in 1919, he returned back to his childhood state of mind and really started animating cartoons, because one of the things that he loved to do when he was in school was he would draw cartoon characters at the edge of his papers, and when he would flip it, he would have they would move and progress. And so from that point, he attended Kansas City Art Institute and School of Design and the Chicago Art Institute. And going to those schools, he learned how to do basic animation and skills that he needed to make videos. And so when he was starting out, he wasn't that great, and he actually failed on multiple accounts, signing up for different broadcasting services to make animated shorts. And so his first successful animated short was called it was called Steamboat Willie. And so Steamboat Willie was made in 1928 and later renamed Mickey Mouse after the growing popularity of the character. Mickey Mouse has appeared in over 44 movies, including Fantasia, Steamboat Willie, and Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas, which is one of my favorites. So when Steamboat Willie started, he looked like this. He was black and white, and he wore a sailor's hat. And then after the growing popularity of the character, Walt Disney got rid of the sailor's hat and colored his pants red and his shoes yellow. One of the things that I learned about Mickey Mouse doing research was that he was actually voiced by Walt Disney, and he was one of Walt Disney's favorite characters. So with his appearance in over 44 movies, that just tells me how successful Walt Disney was. He won over 22 Oscars. He was first nominated in 1932 for an animated short called Flowers and Trees. And he actually won this, and this was his first win, and it really sparked the start of his winning streak. In 1943, he was also nominated for a mini documentary called The New Spirit. The New Spirit was not animated, and he lost. So, in my personal opinion, I believe that Walt Disney lost because he is not used to making films. He was an animator. He animated cartoons, and so that's one of the major things that he did. So if you watch the movie Saving Mr. Banks, it's about writing the story for Mary Poppins. And the author of Mary Poppins didn't want animated characters in this movie at all. And he pushed and he pushed and he pushed, and eventually he got her to let him add these characters, and these characters became the penguins when they jump into the painting, and even the racehorse that Julie Andrews rides on in the middle of the movie. With the success of those movies, he was able to release Disney-themed parks. So Disneyland opened July 7th, 1955. And actually, his favorite ride was the carousel, and his favorite thing on the carousel was a racehorse, which I thought was pretty cool. he also, 6 years later, he also opened Disney World on October 1st, 1971. And for a company that failed originally to have a startup and grow so much in 6 years that they not only have one but two Disney theme parks and now several around the world, that's just insane. So with the great success of Disney World and his movies, he was able to grow a giant company that now owns companies like National Geographic, Star Wars, Marvel, ESPN, and like so many of the major networks right now. So with that being said, his company failed, and he was able to grow so much that he made this company that has everything you could think to watch. And so because of that success, they now have their own streaming service where you can watch anything from Steamboat Willie to newer series that come on like Imagineers, which is just the explanations of why they have Disney themed parks. Thank you.
Yes! That was perfect.
Thank you, Miss Terry. Thank you, guys.
I have one suggestion.
And just so y'all know, I knew Steamboat Willie.
Oh.
You're that old?
I am.